Hey folks, welcome to Guitar Daily. It's Nick Granville coming to you from Wellington, New Zealand. So that was a backing track by Phil Wilkinson Music called Slow Greasy B-Flat Blues, jazz organ backing tracks, so organ and drums. Love it, love his tracks, they're great. I'll link it below if you want to check it out. So, about me, I'm a session musician from Wellington, New Zealand. I do a lot of jazz gigs, funk gigs, all kinds of stuff like that. I posted a thing the other day where someone asked about, a guy called Keith asked about ways to work on having more rhythmic interest in your playing. And I suggested, a couple of things you could try. One of the things I suggested was maybe just going between eighth notes, triplets, and sixteenths. So that you're feeling these different rhythms and you've kind of got gears, as you will. And he asked how one would work on it. So I thought it's a good lesson to kind of cover today. So, first thing to do, that backing track, I'm going to use that for all the examples today. Let's just play constant eighth notes over something. So I'm going to go constant eighth notes, and then at some point I'm going to essentially go from first gear into second gear, and I'm just going to play triplets over the whole phrase, right? And then I'm going to go from second gear up to third gear, which will be 16th notes, right? And you can go in reverse as well. So you can go from, say, 16ths to triplets back to eighths as well. We'll just do it the first way to start with. I'll show you how that's going to go. It's a good way to work on this. iPad's gone to sleep. Alright, so here's our slow, greasy B-flat blues. Starting with eighths. 1, 2, The big thing is not to race. Gonna go into triplets. It's hard to talk and play. Sixteenths. And if you're up for it, groups of fives. So and so. Don't need to do that for now, but anyway, you get the idea. Eighths, triplets, sixteenths, right? And then do the same thing in reverse, where you're going from sixteenths to 1 E and A, 2 E and A. And then into triplets. It's hard to speak and play. Into eighths. And what you're trying to do with it is being able to feel those different subdivisions, right? Now, I wouldn't play music like that. There's no gaps, there's no rest. It's quite unmusical to kind of play that way. But it's an exercise to be able to feel solid eighth notes, solid triplets, solid sixteenths, and whatever else beyond that. If you feel like you can do groups of fives, groups of six, through the full rhythm pyramid up to eighth, 8 notes per beat, if you're up for that, right? It'll depend on tempo, of course, because this is a slow blues. On a fast blues, I'm not going to be able to play 7 notes over a beat. It's just not going to happen, right? Because this would be too fast. But yeah, anyway, and conversely, when you do a slow tempo like that, eighth notes, the tendencies a lot of musicians have is to rush the beat, right? So we're working on that, right? And then the next thing to do is kind of to mix them up. So I'm going to go from eighths, and I might jump into some triplet lines and then some 16th notes to kind of spice it up. I'll show you what that sounds like. I'll show you why my iPad's going to sleep today. Maybe it's like me, it needs some sleep. So I'm going to go eighths, triplets, sixteenths. and so on. You know, and I'm kind of like switching gears, but I'm doing it kind of quickly instead of just going from one gear to the next. I might go into one gear into another and back down and stuff, so on like that. But I'm trying to feel these various different rhythms and subdivisions. Okay, so that's one thing to do, right? Next thing to do would be to start trying to play. I think I suggested this to Keith at the time. If you're feeling like you're needing more rhythmic variety in your playing, is try and play over bar lines, right? Because the thing is, as soon as everything finishes on, say, you play a phrase and it finishes on beat 1, it starts to become quite predictable, right? So if you want your playing to be rhythmically less predictable, play over bar lines. I'll give you an example of that. I'm going to play right across all the bar lines. So we're going in. Hang on. Waiting for it to come back around to the top. So here I'm going to play. So there I played over the first bar line and into the first bar, and same thing. So you see there, I was kind of playing across the bar line. So here I'll play across. So instead of like predictably landing on the change to the 4 chord, play right across it and kind of come out on beat 2, or even in that case it came out like a whole nother bar later. And that'll give you playing less of a rhythmic predictability. Another thing you can do too is start like, I don't know how deep I should go into this, but polyrhythms and metric modulations and that kind of stuff can really help. I'll give you I'll kind of only briefly touch on this subject because it's really a lesson for another day. But one thing you can do is like try playing 3/4 rhythms over 4/4. So here's a real simple one: 1, 2, and 3. Right, just that much. 1, 2, and 3. Right, I'm going to put that over 4/4. You'd go 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2. Sorry, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, and 2. So on, so on. I'll give you a demo of it. So we're in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. But I go 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'll play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. The whole time I'm doing this stuff, I'm trying to play chord changes as well. I'm not trying to just like ignore the chord changes. I'm not trying to ignore the feel. I'm trying to make sure it still feels like it's got a swing about it, right? That my emphasis and my thinking is still on 2 and 4. And this is all stuff I do when I practice. Now when I perform, forget about it. I forget about all this stuff, right? I just, there's far bigger things for me to be thinking about, right? Like what am I trying to present to the audience? What am I trying to do, connect with the other musicians on, right? What needs to be taken care of? Is the groove feeling good? If it's not, then I need to lock that down. If the groove's feeling great, then I probably don't need to do much in that area. Maybe the harmony needs some attention, or the melody, or I'm asking all these questions to myself. What is my tone like? Does it feel like my playing is flowing? If not, then I need to kind of make sure it is. All those sorts of questions anyway. And then what emotion am I trying to connect with the audience with, if we can get to that point, which is what I'm ultimately interested in. Anyway, I hope this has been useful. If it has, please subscribe. Please like. That really helps with these videos too, to push it out to more people. The Buy Me a Coffee thing is linked below. If you want my if you want my Fractal preset, the one I'm using right now on my FM9, it's linked on the Buy Me a Coffee page. It's $5, right? That's nothing, and you get the preset, and hopefully it's useful to you, because it's the one that I use on all these videos, which has like my kind of clean tones, overdrive tones, the various effects, and all that sort of stuff that you'll be hearing. Anyway, the most important thing is that you're here and you're watching. I appreciate it. Cheers.